It's yet another good evening to you, our viewer. We want to thank the Almighty God who has seen us through up to this time. He has protected us. He has enabled us to see the beauty of this week and this day. And now, even as the day is getting closer to its end, we want to thank God that you are still tuned in Church of Uganda Family TV. And here we are with the Family Hour, our Thursday edition. And today we are discussing attitude and leadership. Now, attitude is another thing that that is very, very pivotal when it gets to leadership. And yeah, as usual, Adrian Austin Mukalas is my name. We are glad to have Dr. Patricia share with us today's topic and dissecting it into details. We are glad to have you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Adrian, and good evening, viewers. I am also happy to be here, except we are missing Diana, but I believe she will catch up when she comes.
Sure,
yes.
Sure. How is the inspectorate?
The inspectorate is fine. Okay. We are working. By God's grace, we are able to do what we can within our means. Okay. Yes.
I understand you're in a very challenging times.
Yes, corruption is a very topical issue. Remember, Adrian, we have been praying about this and for our country for a long time. We want this issue to be like a hot potato so that everybody gets to hate and shun it. Everybody gets to feel the impact and the negative aspects of corruption so that they can contribute towards the war against corruption. And for me, I think it's a good thing. It's now a hot potato topic. And all leaders have to put their heads towards it and see how we can change our country for the better and contribute towards national development. Yes.
For the first time, I'm seeing it becoming a concern to everyone, from the fountain of honor I mean, it is now a concern of everyone, and we are really grateful that at least the country has its eyes open that now this is a very bad vice.
And I like the way the young people have illuminated the war against corruption. It's all over social media. If you see the kind of cases we receive these days, we're overwhelmed by cases on WhatsApp, on our call center. Yes, everybody's crying corruption. Can the IGG come? Can you take action here? Can you do this? Yes. But it is nice because you see that people have now owned the war against corruption and are ready to join. Yes.
So in simple terms, we'd say you're no longer breathing because of what
keeps us on our toes all the time. Yes.
Well, Doctor, we want to discuss leadership and attitude, but just to give it a foundation, how can you define attitude?
Well, when you look at attitude, attitude is about a way of thinking. How does this person think about something or about someone? And it typically reflects somebody's behavior. It's about your mindset and thinking about something, about someone, about a given situation, and it reflects on somebody's behavior. Because you realize attitude is also a combination of beliefs. What do you believe in? It's a combination of feelings. It's a combination of behaviors that shape the individual's perception, and that shapes also how the individual responds to issues and situations and challenges, and also intervention and interactions with others. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now, how does this attitude impact a leader?
Well, in the context of leadership, when you look at attitude, it plays a very significant role on how a leader manages his leadership tasks and responsibilities. It influences the effectiveness and also the impact of the leader. If the leader is going to have significant impact, he has to cultivate a positive attitude. And how does he do this? A leader's attitude sets the tone for an organizational culture. So if a leader has a positive attitude, then he's capable of fostering creativity, collaboration, and even innovation among the teams he is leading. A negative attitude generally builds mistrust, demotivation, and also discontent. within a team. So every leader out there should have a positive attitude in order to foster that creativity, in order to build trust, in order to foster innovation among the teams. And you know, some people say, for me, I have talent. You can have talent, you can have skills, you can have competence, but without attitude, it is like a waste of time. Because to bring success to a team, you find that it is the advanced man, the attitude is that advanced man in our true selves. So you as a leader, you need to separate yourself from that attitude. Attitude basically roots within inwardly. Attitude has got its roots inwardly, and the fruits are outward. So if I have a positive attitude, then you will see the fruits by my actions, by how I present myself, and so on. Attitude is a best friend, but it can also be a worst enemy. It can be a worst enemy. If you have a negative attitude, have you seen these people who are quarrelsome?
Yes.
Yes. For people, some people marry wrong spouses. They are quarrelsome. They have a negative attitude. Even when you come up with a positive suggestion, they want to challenge and throw it out. So attitude can be a best friend, but it can also be the worst enemy because it destroys character. It is the more honest and more consistent than words. Because if you have a positive attitude, then people will see honesty in you. People will see consistency in you before you even say it. So you don't have to say anything. People will see and know that Omuntu ono has a positive attitude and he can influence change out there positively. Yes.
Doctor, you talked about positive attitude. Does it mean that there is also negative attitude?
Yes, there is negative attitude.
Now, draw a difference between the two so that a leader out there watching can easily see that for sure what I'm carrying is positive attitude or negative attitude.
What I was saying is, you know, when you look at attitude, it has got ability to either lift or destroy, depending on how you take it. If your attitude is wrong, if it is negative, then you're not going to inspire others. If you are the quarrelsome person who is always finding fault in others, then you can't inspire them and it will affect your managerial skills as a leader. But a leader who has a positive attitude is an encourager, inspires others, motivates others, sets the tone for the organization, yes, and is able to build actually stronger teams as a leader because of the positive attitude.
Okay. Now that you've talked about stronger teams, how does a leader's attitude now contribute towards team building or teamwork?
Attitude in a leader has got ability to build a team by lifting it up or tearing down a team. It can lift up a team because a winner's age is not in gifted birth. Like, you know, I was gifted birth by a good mother or talent, but it is in attitude. All of us have good mothers, the best mothers in the world. But if I have a negative attitude, people will blame my mother for nothing. It will be my own fault. So we need good talents, and also we need to be aware of our own attitudes. So when we look at leadership and attitude, it is intertwined and it plays a very crucial role, especially when it comes to shaping the individual, when it comes to shaping the organization. In terms of teams, when you look at leadership, it is not about titles or positions. It's about having ability to influence, about having significant impact in the lives of the people we are leading, and the ability to inspire others towards a common goal. So a positive attitude is basically that cornerstone for effective leadership, because it helps that leader to motivate and empower others to excel. It helps that leader to build strong teams and empowers them to actually excel, and they will be able to achieve more output. So attitude basically reflects leadership and also good leadership, and it is attitude of a leader. Basically, like I say, it sets the tone for the organization. Leaders with a positive attitude have normally a proactive attitude. It creates a culture of resilience and also innovation in the organization. Because if a leader has a good attitude, then even the people he's leading will want to emulate him, and they'll want to be creative. They'll come up with innovative ideas, which ideas will actually improve the organization and impact positively on the leader's management skills. So a leader's attitude also towards challenges and setbacks influences how the team responds to challenges or adversity or difficult situations. So leaders who have a resilient attitude normally demonstrate a lot of strength when it comes to leadership, because of their resilience, because of their perseverance and problem-solving skills. So they have the ability to adapt to the challenging situations or circumstances. So a strong leader always maintains a positive attitude out there, even if they face challenges. So that means the team is looking at the leader. How is he going to respond to this situation? A challenge has come. So it's the leader who sets the tone. If the leader is feeling strong and maintaining a positive attitude, then basically the teams will be encouraged. So attitude is contagious, and leaders have the power to shape organization culture through their attitude. So by consistently demonstrating the positive attitudes, by consistently having humility and respect, leaders can cultivate a very good work environment. Have you seen people always struggling to apply to a certain organization because they have set the tone and the standards have been set very high? So a leader's attitude must always be authentic and must be aligned to his values and beliefs. So if you have an authentic attitude which are aligned to your values and beliefs, then people will trust in you, because integrity in leadership is essential, especially in gaining trust and respect. So you find that the teams will be strong and they will be trusting the leader and they will respect the leader. So a positive attitude basically is rooted in somebody's sincerity. Is this leader sincere? Is he honest? Is he ethical? Because you realize that ethical behavior also builds credibility and long-term relationships, especially between the leader and his other teams. So when you look at leadership and attitude, they are intertwined elements. They are intertwined elements that have a profound impact on individuals, even on teams and organizations. So effective leaders with a positive attitude basically are able to foster that culture of growth, the culture of resilience. They encourage collaboration, and they drive the organization to victory and success. So when a leader has a positive attitude, we see very good success stories, because he will be driving a strong team that is inspired, that are ready to deliver. Yes.
What about, now that is for the teams, what about the individuals? How does attitude impact individuals now? Because I think this is now where the gist is, that it all starts with an individual before it is extended to the teams.
Attitude is an inward feeling expressed by behavior. So if a leader has a positive attitude, the individual in him has got that inward feeling, which is expressed by his behavior. People will see his behavior and know that, oh no, he has a good attitude. It can be seen without word being said, by body language. You can see and say, no, this person, the way she moves herself or the way he moves, I think his attitude is what? Having a problem. Our expression is the most important today, especially. So when you have had someone saying, well, I am kneeling, but in my heart I'm actually standing.
Yes.
So you find that it's about attitude. You have forced the person to kneel down to greet you, but in their heart they're standing up straight. So attitude determines.
Is that also a question of attitude?
Yes. Attitude determines our approach to life. It determines our relationship with people. It talks a lot about the individual's upbringing, and that means if there are people who have what in Uganda you call luzalo, They are born with it. But they can purpose to shape their attitude. They can purpose to change that and be a better person.
Do you want to say that attitude is inborn? For example, are there traits that I can inherit from my mom or my dad or my grandfather or my grandmother?
Yes, there are people who say, well, in our family we have that. In our family, that's how. Or someone picks a quarrelsome personality, or always arguing and challenging others, positioning himself like he or she is always right. But here we're talking about attitude and humility. If you have a positive attitude, then you can't front yourself as the only person who is right all the time. You should be able to listen and learn from others. So that takes us on how we can actually shape.
Doctor, before we even get to shaping attitude, there is this common saying that if you don't blow your trumpets, then who will blow it
for you?
So is this also a question of attitude? Because I look at a situation where people will misinterpret someone who is blowing their trumpets.
But I was thinking, attitude is more about behavior and action.
Now, for instance, someone who comes and says, me, I'm consistent, me, I'm bad. I mean, they have to remind everyone each time, hey, me, I'm good, I'm perfect.
No.
Yes. For example, like, why don't you do things like me? Such people.
We talked about body language. It should. Someone doesn't have to see it. They have to say it. They have to see it through your actions. How are your actions? Are they driven by your attitude? So when they see your actions, it should speak for itself. So when you find a person saying, don't you know I'm the head of this family? Don't you know I'm the head of this organization?
I'm your supervisor.
Don't you know I'm your supervisor? Those are leaders who are weak leaders. A leader who is grounded in with leadership skills has a positive attitude, and it should speak for itself. But when you look at somebody beginning to say that, you know that attitude is a very significant psychological construct that can also have profound impact on an individual's life. Because if he starts praising himself, then know that this has got to do with behaviors and actions. This has got to do with emotional well-being as well. Does he have emotional intelligence? Can he think through? Can he own up his challenges and be able to address them without necessarily spilling them off to others and so on? So I think there's a lot an individual can do in order to transform himself to have a positive attitude in order to improve on his well-being and the well-being of others.
Doctor, what about people who help us and then they stand in the crowds and say, if I had not helped that man, he wouldn't be where they are. Actually, it is me who even helped that person. I mean, is that also a question of attitude, or this one is now different?
Well, there are people who just want to be given credit.
Okay.
The people want to be given credit, but everybody wants to be recognized in one way or another. But when you find yourself beginning to push for this recognition, then that is where I have a big question mark. Your results should speak for themselves. Someone else should say, well, this is the person who helped me get to where I am. This is the person who taught me while I was in high school and made me a better professional today. So I rarely see teachers going around saying, I taught him. No. It is the student who acknowledges and says, this is my teacher. He taught me ABCD. Yes.
We have a show here where we interviewed one of the teachers of the president, but you never hear him come out in public. He didn't even say it on air. We discussed it and he said, yeah, I taught him. Okay, so this will be people coming to
But you realize that teachers teach so many people and you can't remember all of them.
He actually gave us a very long list. Honorable Mama Babazi, Honorable Sam Kutesa. I mean, he gave us a lot. The list was endless.
Personally, here I've taught like for 15 years. But there are times when I bounce onto my students in places and they're the ones who introduce themselves to me and say, but you taught me this. You taught me at law school. You taught me this at master's level. You taught me at PhD. I can't remember all of them. It is them now who can say, but Dr. Patricia was our lecturer. But I can't remember that, Recently we were having interviews at office and I saw some familiar face. I was like, wait a moment. did I teach you? Yes, I said, this must be conflict of interest. This is my student.
So you left the panel just like that?
No, I didn't leave the panel. It was not. I just brought it up as a joke. I had to assess the student on basis of her performance at interviews. Yes.
Okay. And then we get to what shapes a person's attitude.
For me, I think a lot goes into attitude, but a lot more also comes out of attitude.
Okay.
Because in order to get a positive attitude as an individual, you have to do a lot with yourself. But also, like I said, a lot comes out of attitude, because the results you will be reaping, or the fruits, will be very, very useful to somebody's career and even to other people. Because people are born with certain characteristics, and those basically sometimes impact on their attitudes. But many other factors play an even greater role in people's lives, especially the formation of their attitude, the upbringing. First of all, there is the inherent personality, like what we had just been talking about, that it may be a genetical thing, and then environment. Some people, when you live in a harsh environment, then you find that there is also very harsh or hostile people around. I'll give you an example of Karamoja, when it was hostile with a lot of wind, and then the character of the people also are shaped by that environment. So, and then sometimes it's adults' acceptance or affirmation. When you're bringing up a child and you teach the child certain ways, then the child begins to affirm into adulthood. Say, me, I am a successful person, I'm victorious, I will not fail, nobody will defeat me in this. So the child grows up with that positive self-image. Then also exposure to new experiences. Some people's attitudes change when they're exposed to new experiences. Like if I say, Edwin, you go to Namibia and stay there for 2 weeks, you start exchange program, then you'll get to see how things are done, how programs like this are presented, how what the government is doing, for instance, in the war against corruption. And so you come back, because you are exposed to new experiences, you'll want to try some of what you have learned on the other side. And also sometimes it's peer pressure or even physical appearance. Sometimes it is family, it is marriage, it is job, and so on. So there is a lot that shapes a person's attitude out there, yes.
You talked about physical appearance, and I don't know what exactly you mean in physical appearance. But I mean, can someone's appearance determine their attitude?
Yes, it does. Well, for instance, if you have been invited for a dinner, and then you have shown up putting on casual clothes like jeans or putting on an overall, people will think you have come to do some repairs in the venue, or you are one of the producers, or you're carrying equipment, and so on. So physical appearance plays a very significant role. You will not be comfortable to sit at the dinner table with the people who are dressed and putting on dinner clothes and are very smart and ready for the dinner. So your appearance will have basically caused a mindset change or impact in the people around. People will say, but how did Edwin show up like this? So you find that basically physical appearance also plays a significant role, especially in shaping attitude.
We have a category of people that the psychologists say it is a personality or it is a temperament. These are people who always seek recognition, that where they are, you should know them. Each time they speak, they should be acknowledged. I mean, if you don't talk about them, then you're in trouble. But the psychologists say it is driven by their personality and temperament. Yes, and temperaments. So how about those people? How do they now manage that?
Well, they find themselves fitting in. I may be one of those who has some bit of that trait. Like if I went to a place and there was no leader, I'll be like a self-imposed leader. So, well, let's have some order here. Can these chairs be organized? And that is me. And even later on, when they say, well, the classroom may need a leader, everybody will say, let it be Patricia, because I have already shown some leadership tendencies in there. Yes. So there are some people who just take responsibility, who volunteer to take responsibility without necessarily being nominated or appointed, or yes. And sometimes it is by personality traits. Others are sanguines, others are introverts, others are cholerics, others are very outgoing by personality. You will ask a question and some people will keep quiet with the answer. But others will be struggling to say, teacher me, let me say it. Yes. So it's about people's personality traits, yes.
One of the shows you missed, then we're actually looking at the detail of this. And we were judging ourselves on air. Where do you belong? This is your major, this is your minor. But
for me, I have bits of each. Bits of each.
Of the four?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bits.
Then you are a unique one. Let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to continue with this interesting topic of attitude in the life of a leader. Stick with us.